Hi ladies. Today's video I'm sharing small video clips of my process or my experience with the process of growing out my gray hair. Um, if it's something that you're considering or interested in, stick around to the end. I do have some tips that I think may help or be beneficial to anyone who may be considering it themselves. And after the short clips of videos over the progress of time lapse, I'll be back to show you obviously where I am now. All right, so this is right about 30 days of no hair dye. I'm growing the gray out, and I think I have about maybe an inch of growth so far with just 30 days. I hopefully don't have much longer to go, and if it takes too long, I think I will go to the beautician and see if they can go ahead and add some gray highlights to get some of this brown out before I chop it off. Okay, so this is, I want to say 6 weeks worth of growth. I think I have a couple of inches. In some areas it's longer than others. But one thing I hate in this process is like before when I would dye my hair, it would seem like within a week I would already start to show my gray. But it seems to be slowing down, and I don't know if it's just my impatience or what, or maybe because there's not such a big contrast of the dark and the white like so close to the root. But this is 6 weeks. I did just run into a lady not long ago who said she was about 6 months in her transitioning into her gray, and she had probably a couple of inches more than this. I'm hoping to have more than that. I think if I had to go 6 months without having a good 4 or 5 inches at least, I would probably get pretty frustrated. But I don't know. I'm starting to kind of like the gray more, but I'm also noticing before when my hair was darker or I was dyeing it darker, it seemed as though I was white everywhere, white hair everywhere. But I'm noticing that I have a little bit more color or pigment, whatever, still in my hair in certain spots. So I'm curious what it's going to look like whenever it's all natural, and if it'll be kind of patchy or kind of evenly spread out. But it looks like in my temples, or right about here, maybe right there, I have some brown or darker. My natural hair color growing up was a pretty dark brown, almost black, and I've always dyed it brown because if you do it black out of a box dye, it looks purple, or looks like a box dye. So I would go some shades lighter and just do the brown. But yeah, I'm curious to see where we're at. I was going to try to let it grow to about 4 or 5 inches and then try to get like a shorter hairstyle and try to work with it then. But I don't know. I have somewhere like a banquet that I will be going in the next 6 more weeks, and I don't really want to go looking like this, so I'm not sure how I'll do that, but we'll see. Okay, I want to say I am at definitely month 2 with this gray grow out. I'm about to put my hair up, so I figured I would go ahead and record where I'm at. So it doesn't feel like, when I look at it, it doesn't feel like it's much different than what it was the last time I recorded, but I definitely have some uneven grow out. So where some of it looks like it's um, has more growth than other spots. And then my well, not really my temples, but the sides of my hair, I'm realizing that I have more darker hair than I used to, or than I thought. And then this is my hearts. Looks like this is going to be a much longer process than I had hoped, but there it is. that's it now. I'm still fixing my hair. I think that kind of helps with that washed out look. As long as you're still fixing your hair and like maybe putting makeup on when you go somewhere or something like that, like it still helps not feel so washed out and worn out looking. So anyway, this is the end of month 2. Okay, so this, as of today, it is about 3.5 months since I stopped dyeing my hair myself. So the last hair dye I put on, it was on December 12th. And it is now March 28th, I believe. It's almost the end of March. So 3.5 months. This is my updated hair growth along with a haircut. And they put in some lowlights, I guess. They added more brown, which I'm trying to get rid of the brown, but I had a good couple of inches of gray and was enjoying figuring out what my gray looks like. But when I went to get it cut, they tried to blend it, so they added more of the brown. So I think what I'm going to do, this is probably 3 to 4 weeks growth after the haircut and the last brown added to it. But I think what I'm going to do next is let it continue to grow, don't add any more color, and then just cut it wherever the gray stops the next time I get it cut. But this is my gray update for now. It's looking pretty white for the most part, but closer to my roots, of course. But and this would be more gray, but it's where some of that brown was added. So this is my gray update for my 4th month. It's 4 months and probably a week or so. So here's where I am. You're going to see all of my white here. And forgive me, I had a clip in my hair, so it's a little wonky. But I'm trying to show you where I'm at. So it's hard to do this while I'm holding the camera, but so this top part is where I stopped dyeing it last. This brown, I guess it's hard to see. Right there was my last dye, and then that little bit of brown you see blended into the to the gray is where they tried to blend when I went and got my hair cut. They tried to blend it so it wasn't such a straight line, but it's still growing. I really want to get it cut off. I know I'll probably look crazy, but I'm used to having a little bit, because my forehead's so big, I'm used to having a little bit of bang to kind of offset that a little bit, and I'm used to having this to put behind my ears. But this growth is starting, not necessarily a gray growth, but the hair growth from when I got it cut. I had a little bit shorter of a pixie cut, and like this part right here. I heard someone mention something about a Lord Farquaad from Shrek, and I see this on myself and think, oh dear, that's that's what's going on there for me. But this is my gray growth at 4 months and a week. So okay, so that is up until now. Right now, as of today, I am currently 7 months, almost to the dot. 7 months since my last home hair dye, my last box dye. And this is where I'm at. As you can see, the majority of my gray is white. Obviously, in the crown, for whatever reason, the crown seems to be the more obvious. And I've shown through the other videos, I do have some color in my gray. This is what it looks like as of now at 7 months. So pretty sure that this is not going anywhere. Well, maybe eventually, but but that's part of my natural hair color there, which you can see is such a difference from the brown I was dyeing it. But yeah, so this is where I'm at, and I'm enjoying it. I'm embracing it. I'm pretty committed to it at this point. I don't think I'm going to go back. I may experiment with some other colors, some tips, or different things that just to make it more fun through the coming months. And I don't know yet if I'm going to get more haircut. Eventually, I would like to get the brown completely cut off. But I do have some suggestions or tips that I think would be helpful for anyone who's considering it. So I did want to start with that by saying that at that period, when you first start to grow out your gray and you get to that stage where you're just really not liking it, I'm going to encourage you to push past that. Just a few more weeks, maybe. Just give it 3 more weeks or so. And then what I think you'll find at that time, if you're like me and you've done the box dyes and all the hair damage and all that stuff, is you're probably going to start to see a little more thickening of your hair. I thought for a while that I was thinning, but I realize now that I've let it grow out that my hair is actually thicker. And it's because I've been damaging my hair for decades. But and also, yeah, I think once you get past that harsh line, it's going to feel better once you actually start to see your actual gray and what that looks like. I encourage you to, get curious about it. Get curious about what your natural hair is. So I'm going to encourage you to push past that a few more weeks, and before you make the decision to go backwards. My next tip for you that worked out for me is to style your hair. Style it anyways. Like, I work at home and I don't style my hair on most days, but I noticed that when I did, that it did make me feel better. Not just with what I saw in my own appearance, but it just made me feel better about my gray grow out. It didn't feel so washed out and so kind of run down. So as long as I was styling my hair, it felt better. So my next tip would be to have, if you are like me and you've done the box dye and it's just one solid color, I would suggest that you go to the salon and have the blend put in at least once. I only did it once. That was all I needed because I was really curious and wanted to see my own gray. But I'm glad that I did the blend. Originally, when I did it, I was not too happy about it because I felt like it took me backwards. I put in all this effort to grow out my gray, and here we were adding color back to it. But instead, I thought maybe they could add gray highlights to the brown. But to do that for my hair, with the damage that it already had from all the home dyes that I've done to my hair, she would have had to bleach the parts that she was going to add the color of the gray to, and that would eventually have looked washed out. It would have yellowed and also damaged my hair even more. So we didn't go that route. She did encourage me to go with the darker lowlights to do the blend, and I'm really glad I did, because by doing that, it didn't have that stark line between the gray and then the box dye. So that little bit of blend has made it look more refreshed, cleaner, less DIY. And I'm not going to speak, I DIY everything, but including my hair. But yes, that blend I think is helpful to anyone who's going through that transition, that process. And then my next tip would be to accept and embrace your natural beauty. I think, in my mind on this, like for a lot of us, especially people who are going prematurely gray, a lot of people think that it makes them look older. But what I've seen with a lot of women, of course, since I've started growing out gray, I've paid a lot more attention to other women who are fully gray or have grown out their gray, and I'm seeing there's so many that it almost gives the reverse effect. Like, the gray actually makes their face look younger. So, and I'm not saying that's exactly what's going on with me, because I am a bit older than others, but yeah, I think that embrace your natural beauty. Like, there's so many beautiful things about you, and I think it's all about perspective and how we see ourselves and how we feel about ourselves. That's going to really help you through this process, or any process with any changes in your life. But just embrace your natural beauty. So my next tip is going to be this is the last tip. It's going to be just to have fun with it. If you want to add some spunky colors in there, do it. If you want to get a different cut, do it. As you can see, I didn't do the spunky colors. I did the blend and I did the cut though. But I've always admired people who can pull off those short pixie cuts or shorter haircuts, and never thought that I would look right doing that because of my jawline. I thought it would enhance, all the things that I would like to hide. But I think it actually pulls away from that. Before, I would just slick my hair back in a ponytail, and it was just, it was all out there. So, but yeah, play with your hair. Like, get the colors, get a different cut, get a different style, just whatever. But I definitely just have fun with it. But those are my tips. This is my experience this far in growing out my gray. I hope it's been helpful. And if it has, and it encourages you to do the same, I support you 100%. If there's anyone else here who has grown out their gray and has any suggestions or tips that they think could be helpful to others, please add them in the comments so we can share and support each other. I appreciate you sticking around to the end. And if you have, please hit like if you enjoyed this content, just so I'll get that feedback from you. Again, thanks for sticking around. I appreciate your view, and I hope you have a great day. You take care.